So Clip Studio Paint has recently issued a challenge on showing people how to animate facial expressions in the program. And before we get started, I'll just let you know I am a 2D animator. I use a XP Pen 22R, which is a pretty big screen tablet. I have a few other tablets, but today we're going to be going over everything on this. So facial expressions it's a pretty easy process, I would say. You see it in tons of shows. You get from one face to another, from happy to sad, or a neutral look to a surprise. A lot of different shows feature this. Sometimes the characters are already in that expression on their face, so they may not change it or animate it. A lot of shows you'll notice that they do transition. So I made a few examples here. I'll show you each frame, I'll show you the process that I did, and then you'll draw with me if you'd like, and I'll show you from scratch how we can animate from one expression to the next. So for some of the examples I have happy, angry, sad, and surprised. This is our little character. You can call him Billy Bob Thornton or whatever you want. So on the timeline down here, if you're familiar with that, we're going to scroll down. We're looking for happy, which I color code just so I know what's what. These are all the same, but that's because they're finished. So here we go. We have the happy, and I'll play it just so you can kind of see. We go happy and then back, and then happy and then back. So it's just back and forth, super simple. So what I did to start this is, once I made the face, which, you can make any style you want, simple, intricate, whichever. I started with this neutral face here. I'll change this real quick. So I started with this neutral face. I didn't want anything spectacular or already in a position. I want to make this as simple as possible. Then I went to another frame I made, and then that's the happy face. Now what's gonna happen here, once you make two faces, you have your beginning and your ending, right? Your beginning face, your ending face. All you have to do once you draw your beginning face and your ending face is now you fill in the space in between. How do I get those faces to match? So I'll turn off some of these. So we're just looking at the line work, right? We have the straight face, happy face. So if I turn on onion skin, it's a little tough to see, but I'll zoom in a little more. You can tell that this is frame 2, and then you got frames 3 and 1, and then 2. So we'll delete these so I can show you better. So my process started with just this. It was the straight face and then the happy face. We'll turn that off just so it's not as rough looking. So then I made a frame in between, open the mouth a little more, right? A little more. Move the eyebrows up a little bit, move the jaw down a little bit. And then I made another frame because now we want to complete the smile, right? We want to complete the animation to get the full face to move to the next part. So then I added frame 3 and then made the mouth a little bigger, right? A little bigger from this. The eyebrows are up a little more. The cheeks are starting to push into the eyes a little bit. And then from that to that, you have a finished animation. Seems simple enough, right? It's nothing to stress out about. It's very simple. And then towards the end here, I just did it in reverse so that we get it back to the first image. So the smile, straight face. So there's one. And I'm gonna keep it super simple, and I'll just kind of run through things relatively quick. We don't have to spend too much time because it's a pretty easy process. So I have a happy face, we have a sad face, then we have an angry face, and lastly we have a surprised face. And these were all using the exact same process. I started with the first face, then I started with the very last face. You spread those out, then you just fill in the gaps. Slowly but surely you stretch the mouth out or the eyebrows, you just move things slowly and evenly so that they connect. Now, this is a rough head turn that I made, and we're gonna use that. So we're gonna go from happy to angry. You don't have to follow along. You can just kind of watch. I'll do another simple one that'll be a lot easier and funner to do for anyone who's interested in joining. So I have this set. Let's go to where it is on the timeline. I called it turn rough. Here we go. So I'm doing 5 frames. We got our happy, we have our angry. Number 3 is the middle. We have 2 and 4, which are copy and pastes, and just you flip the image. Pretty easy. If we turn on our skin, you can see the head slowly goes into position, and you play it, and so you have a motion. Not the best drawing, but it gets the job done. So we're gonna start with that happy face. We'll zoom in a little bit, not too much, and I'm just gonna rough in. I'm gonna do a real happy face here. And give him some eyes. Some big old eyebrows to really emphasize that he's really happy, right? Super happy character. They're not great, but we're just doing a sample here. Big old smile. Maybe show a little bit of teeth. His mouth there. So we have our first frame. Really happy. You can tell the eyebrows are up. The mouth is open. Very expressive. Then we'll go to the very last frame. Now we're gonna do the angry face. So I think I'll start with the eyes like I did on the last one. And then the difference here is we're gonna take those eyebrows that were really, really up and happy, and we're gonna really smash them down. We wanna make them very upset looking, right? Very mad, very angry. Somebody ate his last bag of chips or drank his Capri Sun, we don't know, but he's really upset, right? We'll give him a big old, really mad. A little bit of teeth there. He wants to know who ate his snacks. And we'll even give him little eyeballs to really accentuate the frustration and anger that he has. So really upset. So we have an angry face, and that, and then we have happy face. So now, to get a smooth and kind of an even animation, we're gonna go to the very middle, that being number 3. So we're gonna go to our third frame, and this is all animated on 2s. So it's 1 held for 2's frames, and then 2 held for 2, 3's held for 2, 4's held for 2, and then 5, it doesn't really matter because that is our stopping point. So it's all over the place. It's just as far as you want the video to go. So we'll go to number 3. Notice his face is down. So generally with the head turn on these lower middle sections, you just kind of want to close the eyes. This will help us with the transition of emotion here. So eyes closed. And let's see, super happy mouth, super angry mouth. We'll go somewhere in the middle and do, kind of whatever. Not the best, not the worst. Then we'll want to fill in for 2 and 4. So these frames are now going to be the in-betweens between the very angry face and the very happy face. So we'll start with the happy one. Let's start positive. So we essentially have the same face here, but now we're gonna slowly start bringing those eyebrows down, right? Because he's not super happy. He's slowly leaving the happy zone and he's getting angry. So we'll do that and bring the mouth in a little bit. Not as happy. starting to lose it a bit. So super happy, kind of losing it a little bit. Eyes are closed. And now we want to do the transition to the pretty angry face. So we'll turn on our onion skin. We'll draw on the eyes here. And remember, you don't have to join this. You can just watch if you'd like. We'll do another one right after this. And since his eyebrows are starting to come down here, we'll slowly arch them up. Not a lot, just enough. Slowly arch. And now I'm going to move this one down a little more so it's closer to the eye there. So you can see this is kind of more of a perturbed face. He's not extremely upset, but he's getting there, all right? So now we'll check the mouth here. The mouth was pretty open, it's pretty closed here, so we're gonna find a nice little medium. I'd say that's pretty good. And we'll start slowly bringing in those little jowl lines. Almost forgot to add his eyes. Shading. So now we have angry, slowly down, a little happier. I'll probably change this up a little bit just because it looks a little too on the angry side. The mouth is a little funny too. Yeah, maybe just slightly open again without those lines maybe. I might prefer that a little bit more. So we got happy, a little strange, getting a little angry, and now he's piping hot. So we'll play that. There we go. And then I'll even, later down here, I'll add in the opposite, just so we can see it from both angles. Going left to right, right to left. Then we'll let that play. He's angry, he's happy. He's angry, he's happy. And obviously this is a very simplified version. You could add tons more keyframes in between if you wanted to add more of a fluid expression as it transitions. So now let's jump to a fresh new one, nothing drawn here. And then we're gonna animate that from scratch. Okay, so now let's try that with a brand new fresh circle. So we're going to do happy to sad, or happy to angry. And nothing's here, this is a clean slate. So all we're gonna do, we're just gonna keep it simple. If you wanna go over here to the little circle here, it might be a different shape. But I don't move any of my presets, so yours should look like mine if it's the regular one. So you got your paint bucket, you got your gradient, then you have your different shapes and lines that you can do. So we'll hold down shift and we'll just drag this circle out. And this will serve as our head. Switch back to the pencil. We'll just put a little face here and then we'll just do real simple. Just real happy guy, right? Nothing can stop him, the sun shines every day. Super happy face. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do that by 2 frames, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're gonna go to frame 10 and then make a new layer. That's gonna be our angry face. So with onion skin on, there we go. We remember happy's over here. And we'll make a circle just about the same size. It doesn't have to be perfect. And drag it a little bit out, or you can put it as far as close as you want. It'll probably look a little better if it's closer for just the smaller amount of frames we have. But if you wanted to do further, you could just put in more frames and it'd be smoother and it'd look nice. So now we'll do the angry face here. We've got our circle. Sketch this out. We'll do the same kind of eyes, but now really angry. is on fire. Then we're going to the middle. We're going to frame 3, which is going to be right 1, 2, 3. It's going to be on frame 5. So anyway, we'll get back to this, and we'll call that number 3. Sometimes I like to rename these. It makes it easier for me. You don't have to. So we have those in order. So now number 3, we're going to drag circle out. And because we're doing that head transition, we're going to put it a little lower because we want a nice clean arc as it moves into the next position. So here we know that the head is going to be down. Alright, head's down, and just kind of do like a face like this. Just kind of bleh, just kind of whatever. So then we'll go over here, create a new frame. This is now frame 2. I'm gonna drag that circle out, position it just kind of right in the middle, and then we'll even jump over here and do the same thing real quick. Make another circle, kind of move it in the middle, not too high, not too low, somewhere in between. We'll go back over here. Now we're going to draw in the next face. It's going to go a little down because our head's coming a little down. So we got our eyes. The eyebrows are coming down. Not super duper happy. He's starting to leave it. He's still happy. He's just not all the way happy. And now we're going to go over here. Remember, that head's going to be down a little bit because it's coming from a down position. Probably move this. That's probably a little too far over. There we go. Put the eyes here. And now those eyebrows are starting to come down. He's not entirely there, but he's getting there. Slowly arch that mouth like so. And now we should have a nice transition from happy to angry. Happy to angry. And then I'll even do the same where I put it in reverse. So we'll see it going on both sides. If the playback is a little crunchy, I'll put a smoother export of these onto the video. So we got happy to angry, angry to happy. Your ability to change the face is only limited in the willingness that you have to experiment. So like I had here, we got the happy face, sad face, angry face, surprised face. You can do any kind of face. You can do a worried face. You can even start to mix some of the expressions if you like. If you'd like more help with your expressions, you could buy different books too. I have a book that's called Making Faces, Drawing Expressions for Comics and Cartoons. It is by 8 Fish, and it was relatively cheap when I got it. I'm not sure what the price may be now, but you don't have to get that book. There's tons of different books you could pick up that break down an understanding of how to do faces. The best key, really, you could use a mirror. Just look at yourself, make one expression, sketch it out, make the next expression, sketch that out, and just kind of fill in the gaps. And you can even look in the mirror and go from like happy to sad, and then you just put it together, one piece at a time. It's just the process of art. It takes some time, but the more and more you do it, the better you get at it. So hopefully this was helpful. And I think animation is a wonderful thing that we should cherish and pass on the knowledge that we know.